Coming back. Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. My special guest today, Will Brittain. He's in Austin, Texas today. How's the weather out there in Austin? Is it hot?
Hot, hot. What are we looking at right now? I'm just pulling up the old cellular device here. We got 83 degrees. Not so bad. Not so bad.
Not so
Feels
bad. About
feels
10.
75% humidity though, so that feels like about 90. Um, Man, it's gonna get, I don't know. It's getting, it feels like it's getting crazier here every year. I think I was in my truck last year and I looked at the thermometer last summer and it was 112 degrees. And I was like, what is going on? Where am I? Is this Death Valley?
Wow.
Yeah,
112. That's too much.
112. It's too
I,
much. You can fry an egg with that.
yeah, I like a nice, it's always 70 here in Southern California, as you know. Santa Barbara is always a beautiful 70, but I think I'm between, I like it between like 65 and just under 70 degrees. I like a little bit crisp, but nice and sunny. So
Yeah.
luckily that's what we have pretty much every day of the year.
Yeah, you're in
So
the sweet spot of the earth, man. You're in the sweet
yeah,
spot.
yeah, for sure. Do you get to Santa Barbara much?
I've been a couple of times. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
All right. So if you're just joining us, Will plays Frank. Will Brittain is who I'm referring to, my special guest today. He plays Frank in the film Wayward. The plot is this: an 11-year-old girl en route to Los Angeles with her mother becomes enamored with a charismatic female hitchhiker, forming an unlikely bond that tests maternal ties. Will was in the festival hit A Teacher. He was in Richard Linklater's baseball ensemble, Everybody Wants Some, and in the big budget Warner Brothers feature Kong, Skull Island, working with Samuel Jackson. Before entering this life, though, Will lived for 200 years as a dog. His vices, his vices are blueberry cake donuts and black coffee. That dog likes some good coffee.
You're right. You're right about that.
200 years a dog. How do you know it was 200 years?
I mean, it was just 200 to 400. I lowballed it. I didn't want to get too cocky about my time as a dog. I must have done something wrong as a dog because I came back as a person. That sucks. Dog's way better. So I'm hoping I get back to dog eventually.
Were you a good dog?
I think so.
Were
Yeah, I
you a
think
good dog,
so.
Will?
I think so. I must have been quite the showboat because I ended up being an actor as a human. So, yeah,
Well,
what a pain.
when you talk about your lab, Lazarus, right now, and how he reacts to you when you're acting, and you kind of bounce ideas off of him and act to him,
Yeah,
maybe
he's so,
maybe
he's
he's a
so
friend
emotionally
somehow.
intelligent. I know, I know.
There's
Maybe
something
we
there.
are. He
You're
heard me
connected.
talking about him, and he just came in here to the office and knocked my light off the table that I'm using to make myself look good on this thing here.
Pay
So
attention to me. Pay attention to me.
it's classic black lab for you. He's got this tail that's like a whip. I mean, this thing is like, I think he was a dragon in a previous life with this tail. And he gets excited, he's just a happy fella. And he catch this tail on the corner of a wall or something
Ooh.
and bust it open. And it
Oh,
and it's just a perpetual thing that happens, which is, a bummer for him, sure. He's got this little bloody spot on his tail that tends to pop open every now and then. But for me, I've got white walls in my house, as you can see. And I don't know if you know this, but when a really happy dog is wagging a tail that's bleeding, you get these little spritz of blood on your white walls. So people walk in here and think we're some sort of slasher couple or something.
yeah.
Alfred
Who's
Hitchcock
a
would love it.
kill?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't want to see you on Dateline for leaving blood behind on the walls. So I was reading this article. I'm interested in filmmakers, your the whole thing, everything, the whole process from beginning to end and before. And this article is about Taylor Sheridan, the creator of Yellowstone, Lioness, Landman. he started out in independent films, and then he said his goal and what drove him was to create great work for and cast big Hollywood stars.
Mhm.
And he's obviously he's made that for happen for himself. Do you have any goals like that for your career? Goals that are personal and mean a lot to you, somewhere you want to go, something you want to accomplish?
Absolutely. Yeah. I love acting and I never want to stop. But I have some films that I've written, like every actor does, some stories that I would really like to see get told. And some of those I want to direct, some of those I think that I shouldn't direct, that other people could do a better job of it. So I think that's sort of on my horizon always as an artist is going, okay, when do we get to the place where, because directing is making a movie is an endeavor. As an actor, it's pretty easy. Let's be honest. You book the job, you prepare for the job on the side during your personal life. You know, you take some time to prepare. And then you show up a week early, you get ramped up into it, and then you go. You're shooting for 4, 6, 8 weeks, whatever. If you're doing a big Hollywood movie like Kong Skull Island, maybe you're shooting for 6 months, 8 months. It's peanuts compared to what the director's doing on that. They're in pre-production for a year and a half, 2 years. They're in production for a year and a half, 2 years. They're in post-production for that long. So you're just the feat that is making a feature film is monumental. I mean, you're
Mhm.
dealing with if you're dealing with a Hollywood movie, you're dealing with a 20 to $200 million budget, you know? I mean, you're dealing with marketing, you're dealing with all these things, studio executives, they have police. Even if you're making an independent film, say you're making an independent film for $500,000, what would be a pretty cheap movie. Even still, you're managing $500,000. I mean, imagining
Mhm.
taking $500,000 out of the bank to start a business and trying to get the bank to buy into the fact that you're going to take that 500,000 and make something that's going to churn a profit from it. It's a lot of work. So knowing that, I haven't done that yet. I've directed a short that I wrote and acted in, and that was an awesome time, and I loved every second of it. But even, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
You're in the backyard, building prop pieces and, doing camera tests and stuff while your wife's in here with your 1 year old, I mean, going off to do a movie is like a vacation,
Yeah,
I, I love it. I don't know how anybody could see shooting a movie as work. Cause it's just, I've never had more fun in my life than when I'm filming,
that's
it's
very
great.
cool.
Yeah.
That's
It's
cool.
great.
Yeah, you're right. It's like a business. I mean, you got to get the script and develop the script, cast, budget. Then it's pre-production, filming,
Right.
post-production. Then you're
Right.
hitting the circuit. You
Right.
got to get it out there to the festivals. Then you
Oh,
got to
oh, I
find a
didn't.
distributor.
Yeah, I forgot about that part. Yeah, you're
I
right.
mean,
After the thing comes out, then you've got another year and a half of
yeah.
press. I have a friend, Greg Quidar, who wrote and directed Sing Sing, and he was nominated for an Oscar for that this year. You should check that one out if you haven't gotten a
Yeah,
chance to yet.
that's on my list.
It's phenomenal. But just I was talking to him during this whole process, and it's like, yeah, I'm on a plane from London, New York right now. I've got 12 hours in New York. I'm on a plane to Los Angeles, and then I'm flying back over to Europe. I mean, it's just, I mean, and that's part of that whole marketeering circuit of trying to get this movie sold and seen and get as many eyes on it leading up to the big night as you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Um,
that's
the
effective.
business right now, there's a lot of stuff out there, and I don't know who I was talking to this about. Oh, Lash Ferry, who has distinctive assets. He does all the swag bags for the Oscars and all that. And he was saying that there's a lot out there now, but he thinks a lot of it came from pre-production, uh, pre-COVID, and
Mhm.
then now it's being released, so it's kind of flooding the market. But I'm talking to various filmmaker friends, and they say it's really hard to get that money right now. It's hard to get a 500,000 or even
Yeah.
a couple thousand to option something. It's really it's the business is different. Are you finding any challenges that way? you're not directing right now, and on that side of it. But as an actor, are you seeing any challenges slowing?
Yeah, we went through this spell. I mean, we had COVID and then we had various strikes. And so there was sort of this backlog of material that, was there that hadn't been shot. And then there was a backlog of things that were shot that hadn't been released. I think it's finally, we're 5 years out from that. We're a year out from 2 years out from most of these SAG actor strikes and writer strikes, and the writers union. So I think we're starting to get more to a place of even homeostasis here, where we're sort of riding the wave and projects are getting developed and made. But it takes time, and it's hard as an actor, of course, because you're watching years tick by and you're wanting you're itching to do your job. But man, it's no different than anybody else in any other job. I mean, say the highway department in Texas loses, $20 million in budget, and then you've got, civil engineers that are sitting around without work to do. And you've got, guys that build roads and work heavy machinery that have nothing to do. I mean, just, different industries take different hits at different times, and so it's just, we're not anything unique in that aspect, but it has hit Hollywood more lately than I don't know if it has than ever, maybe ever. I don't know. I don't know the history of Hollywood well enough to speak to that, but it does seem like it's been a tough time in the market.
Well, I see you're working on three things that look like they're in post-production. Is that an accurate count?
What are those three things?
Those three things, I've got them right here. I'm glad I wrote them down. I've got My Twin is Dead, where you play Matthew.
Okay.
That's pre-production. And then
Okay.
Hill Country, Stories, where you play Danny. That's in post. And then Okay Sugar, where you play Brady, and that's in post.
Okay. All those things are done. You can't trust IMDb 100%. My Twin is Dead is not done. It's on the back burner. Okay Sugar and Hill Country Stories, I think they're trying to push for some festivals on those two pieces. I have I'm doing a piece written and directed by Elegance Bratton, who is just really, really, really interesting up and coming filmmaker. Stoked to be working with that guy. Set in 1966, based around the Mississippi burning trials, where these KKK guys were assassinating some civil rights leaders in Mississippi, and FBI sends an agent and a mafia hitman, played by Mark Wahlberg, down to Mississippi to investigate this. And I'm going to be taking off to film that here in a week or so. And I believe it or not, I play a villain.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my butt kicked by Mark Wahlberg. I got some scenes with him. I'm excited to get to work with him. But it's been an up and down market, but it does seem like, based on my experience, like this, by any means, this movie that I just mentioned is getting made. They're going right into production pretty soon. I have other friends that have been in production, so it seems like things are starting to get made again, which is exciting. It's exciting time, and exciting time for audiences too, because I think all of us were seeing, like you said, we were seeing, things bubble up on Netflix that were like, what is this movie? This was like made like 6 years ago or something. Like, where's this from? Why have I never heard of this? So these things are starting to bubble up.
Good, cool. Good. Yeah. Well, it's I ran out of my clock and my time with you. One of the things I wanted to know, though, I kind of wanted to get your idea of your Austin. Like, if I went there and what's Will like in Austin? Do I have time to do a couple rapid fire with you on that? Get a couple recommendations?
Of course. And we can hold on, let me check. Man, I got 10 more minutes at least, if you want to do 10 more minutes.
So let's do these questions real quick. Then I'll
you need to take a break?
Yeah, well, yeah, why don't I do that actually? A good idea. We'll
Okay.
take that break and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Will Brittain's my special guest today. The film is Wayward. It's streaming today. Go watch it. It's on Apple TV, Google Plus, and Amazon. It's my favorite film of 2025, and I think you're going to find out why. Uh, NYC movie guru says of Wayward, well acted and refreshingly unpredictable. The New York Sun says a remarkable performance by Chloe Guidry and scenes in color. Wayward is a riveting film rooted in a mother's love. It's nominated for the 2023 DeVille Film Festival Grand Special Prize. Jacqueline Froelich, writer and director. We'll be right back with Will Brittain.